by the Beautiful Game Network. I'm Mike. With me is Kev, Josh, and Liz. The Hounds got a 0-0 draw against Tulsa, which feels like an eternity ago. We're going to break down what we saw and look ahead to the switchbacks this weekend. Let's go. Kev, you vanished for that split second and then came back and knocked your camera out of whack. What are you doing?
Well, okay, so my cat is on the normal chair that's here that is adjustable height. And so I grabbed just like a chair from like our little dining table, and that's not adjustable height. So I sit down and I don't like I was looking very tall and I didn't like the camera angle. So I quickly just, I was like, there's some books. I'm going to stack them on my laptop to give me a little more height. And that's what I was doing.
Instead of moving the cat.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, I understand completely.
Steve just pointed out in chat that Liz is on screen, which means she won't be giving the banter in chat. Liz, what's going on?
Not much. Nice weather. We got outdoor furniture built. I'm going to hang up clothes tomorrow.
Wait. What kind of outdoor furniture did you build?
I mean, it was a kit. It wasn't like we built it from scratch.
But yeah, paint us a picture
furniture.
It's an L that seats 6 people, and then a small couch that sits 2 more, and a little table in the middle.
Yeah, on our back deck.
So it's like a whole outdoor room now.
It is a whole outdoor room. It's a 20 by 20 deck, so we got to fill it up.
Oh, dang. That's awesome. So when Kevin comes to town, party at your house?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. When Kevin comes over, that's his room, actually.
Yeah.
Outside.
There's a shed, too.
I mean, I'll take the shed. I'm happy with that.
I mean, it's Rubbermaid, and it's more of a kind of like a cabinet, but yeah, same thing.
Mike, you were a little too familiar with your. No, I know you didn't build it.
I understand what you're saying. I completely agree. I'm just saying,
Listen, we've had a lot of conversations, and sometimes when I say build, I mean I bought some lumber and I'm building it from scratch. And I knew that Josh and Liz are not those people, so I didn't assume that they were rough cutting lumber and making it from scratch. I don't doubt that you could. I just know that that's not necessarily
saved at the end there, Mike. Yeah. That was good.
We probably would be those people if we had a garage. But we don't have a garage, so it's hard to set up all the stuff.
I could totally see you guys being like Nick Offerman and just having a secret wood shop that you just retire to, and that's where, yeah.
I could see Liz doing that. I don't think you understand how much of an indoor cat I am of a human being. I'm the one who grew up in the middle of 80 acres and was like, I'm going to stay inside and play Doom on the computer. Meanwhile, my dad's like, I bought a 4-wheeler. Let's go. It's like, I don't know.
I'm with you, Josh.
Yeah.
Anybody do anything fun this week other than assembling furniture?
I hung out at my friend's house. He has just finished his finished basement. It just got finished, and it's supposed to be our game room. It's that's why he built it. It's a speakeasy look to it. It has Art Deco vibes, and he just got furniture in there, and he's getting game tables. It's all getting set up. Nerdy game room, not poker. We're talking board games and D&D. But so we got down there. We're all right, first game night in the room, and we end up just drinking at the bar the whole time and talking. But it was fun.
Nice.
Good. Kev, have you been out hiking at all?
No, I mean, but I have been trying to enjoy the weather. Knoxville every year does a chalk walk art thing, and that was this weekend. So artists from the region come in and just do really cool art on the sidewalks of Knoxville and in the Market Square area. So it was cool. The Knoxville Marathon was this weekend too. So we got down and saw the guy who won run through, and 26 miles in 2 hours and 31 minutes. Yeah, it was insane. We saw him at the very end, and I was I can't run that fast.
I guess you're power walking, that's fine. But
so yeah, I mean, it was insane.
Yeah. Speaking of running, for those, I've mentioned it on the show. My oldest son Ollie broke his leg his tibia playing soccer in the fall. We had his first practice of the spring with sort of their travel season on Tuesday. And then on Friday, he came home with a limp. We thought he just stubbed his toe. Turned out he broke his toe in 2 places in gym class. So
How do you do it?
reset back to the drawing board. They were playing like baseball in gym, and he like ran into a dude like twice his size, and it broke his big toe in 2 places. So
Can't you just wrap that and go on the field?
well, listen, Saturday we spent Saturday night at Med Express because it happened Friday, and then we were like, well, if you just stubbed it, like it should be okay. And then he was at a thing all day Saturday, came home, took off his sock, and his toe was like purple. And we were like, well, crap.
Oh, no.
So we went to Med Express. They did an X-ray, and they were like, yep, there was a fracture, and then there's like a piece of the bone that was chipped off. So yeah, we scheduled an appointment for him to go back to his orthopedist, but I had to let his soccer coach know, like, he's probably done for the season. And he let his track coach know today that he's done for the season. He's got like this crazy, like, styrofoam sandal that he has to wear, and he just tapes his toes because they can't cast it. So he just tapes the toes together, but they've got to let it heal. So
You show him video games and how
yeah.
cool they are. It's fine.
He's familiar. He's
Okay.
familiar. Yeah. No, he's good. We have to have some conversations about like, well, now you have a few months all freed up that we thought were going to be crazy busy. So what are you going to do with them? So
Learn to knit.
Yeah. I mean, legit. Yeah, that's what's going on with us, guys. The Hounds. Let's talk about the game. I suppose the Hounds drew 0-0 against Tulsa. We talked a little bit. It feels like this game happened a lifetime ago. Tuesday night games, 8:00. That was another one where literally we came home from soccer practice and I caught like the first half of the game and then fell asleep just because we're also dog sitting 2 older sled dogs, which is cool. One of them is so old that I literally have to carry her in and out of the house to go to the bathroom. So like, that's not so cool. So like, yeah, lots going on here. So I totally missed the second half. I went back and rewatched the first half. I was saying I thought I could maybe watch it at double speed on ESPN today, and that didn't happen. So I have no idea. I mean, I watched the highlights, but
Can
no
you
idea
watch it on double speed? Is it like a technical thing? Oh, okay.
It just wasn't an option.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not YouTube. YouTube will let you do that, but
Yeah.
ESPN does not.
Yeah. But regardless, Hounds drew 0-0 against Tulsa. There were a number of lineup changes. I think we had 4 guys get their first starts of the season. It was a clear 4-2-3-1. Big surprise for me was Jamali Waite was back in goal less than 48 hours after starting for Jamaica and getting a 2-2 draw from Mexico, which is awesome. I think that A, that says a ton about Jamali, and B, I think that says a ton about Bob's confidence in him potentially being the number 1. I don't know if I'm reading into that too much, but like the
What do you mean
fact that
potential? He's the number 1. Like I don't know what you're talking about.
Listen, we've talked about how, over the years, Bob likes to rotate, and this was clearly an opportunity to have somebody else start, and he threw him right back in there. So I don't know.
Yeah, he's number 1. I don't think anyone's taking him up.
I agree.
That's so atypical. He has to be the number 1.
I'd be happy with that. Like I like him I thought he looked solid in this game. So yeah. Good on him, guys. Some of the new players, or I shouldn't say new players, but the players that got their first start, I'm just interested in sort of your thoughts on how they did. So Joe Farrell got his first start. We've seen him obviously get minutes in the past 3 games. We had Tola showing me who got his first start. Tony Lopez got his first start. Burke Failing got his first start. So, Kev, you said you not only watched the game, but took notes. So you might be the most prepared out of all of us for a change.
Is it opposite day already?
Yes. What were your thoughts on those guys?
I thought they didn't look out of place. And I think that's one of the biggest compliments you can pay to a team this early, a team that had to kind of do the turnaround it did and go away and face a good Tulsa team. And it's in a lineup that, I mean, not just a lineup, but in a formation that changed as well from the first 3 games that we played. In my opinion, they didn't look out of place. They all filled their role really well, and brought a lot of energy to it. I mean, one of my big takeaways was I was really impressed with how well we pressed Tulsa, especially at the beginning of the game, to the point where one of the first notes I wrote was, I thought we pressed them really well. I just worry that we couldn't keep it up for 90 minutes because it seemed like our legs were going to fall off eventually if we kept running and closing them down the way we did. And a lot of that comes from, showing me Lopez and Failing, who kind of create that front four. So yeah, no, I thought they all did really well.
Do you think that any of them did enough to make their way into the, like, air quotes, normal starting 11 conversation?
I don't know. I mean, no, but that also makes it sound like I'm saying they didn't do well, and I'm not saying that either. Like they did fine. Like I think to after one game to clearly make a statement to say, for my first start of the season, I've played so well in a concentrated 90 minutes that I deserve like absolutely a starting position from here on out. No, I mean, for that, I think you need to score a goal and play really well, or set up a goal and play really well. And obviously that didn't happen. So I thought they played well, but no, I wouldn't say any of them like convinced Lily that they're absolute must starts for, the next game.
Honestly,
Liz, what are your thoughts?
I think that would have been hard to do on this field, period. Because when they came in the second half, you're on the straw, and that pitcher's mound was, like there are whole pieces of it coming up. So you had to play more reserved. I think that's maybe why we saw them come out so fast on the first half, because they knew that they were safer there, shutting things down and putting on their speed. Whereas if you're going to keep it in your half the second half, for us, that means we got to be more reserved so we don't break an ankle. Like that field looked awful. It looked really bad.
Yeah.
Josh, what do you think?
It was a little bit frustrating because it did look like we had a lot of good opportunities. Or are you talking about the new players? Sorry.
Anything
Okay,
you
cool.
want to talk about? Yeah.
Making sure. So yeah, a lot of the chances we had, especially early on the first half, like it just was not connecting the finishing touches and all that kind of stuff. So it felt like we could have easily been winning this game, and we should have been winning the game. But with that said, I mean, it's hard to be upset about this result. I mean, after playing so close together games, and then just having to worry about having a bunch of new players on the field and holding it together and getting a 0-0 draw is actually really good. I mean, a point away and 3 at home, we basically have that, although we got our 3 away and got our point at home. But still, that's our record right now is what you would want in not like a perfect world, but in like an ideal idea is that this should be what we have.
Yeah. Hounds still without a loss on the season, so you can't really complain about that. If you actually look at Tulsa, Tulsa is currently leading the league, like all of the USL in goals scored with 8, and that's after we held them to none. So they were coming into this game having scored a ton of goals, and we held them to none. So I think that's a positive takeaway. I think the fact that we do have a team that we can rotate in some of these players, that we can change the formation, is positive as well. I don't know. Like, I obviously was harsh. I actually had a dream the other night. This is where my headspace is, that I was at dinner and Lily was there. Like, and he like confronted me and he was like, I listened to every show and like, I don't like what you're saying about the team. And like, he was taking it very personally. And I was like, I know it's a dream because I know you don't listen to every show. Like, I know that's not a thing. And I'm pretty sure that you wouldn't take whatever I say personally either. So like, not a big deal. But no, I think what encourages me about this team is that it's still early season. We played 4 games. Like we've already said, we're not going to look at the standings until 10 games in. You sort of get a sense from looking at some of the results at other teams or other games that other teams in the East are struggling a little bit. And we have seemed to find that consistent level of, we're not like crushing teams, but we're also not getting crushed. We're just sort of like even keel right in the middle. And that's, if you keep playing that way, first of all, you set yourself up to hopefully go up from there. But like, secondly, there are flashes of things that I find to be encouraging. So we'll see. I'm feeling much better about this season now than I did 4 games ago, and that's good. One of the things that Steve just put in the chat is that there wasn't any news from the media office as of Saturday. Burke Failing got subbed out at halftime for Robbie Mertz, and it wasn't clear whether or not that was related to an injury or not.
I think that was just predetermined. I think in his head, Lilly almost said Mertz is coming on at halftime, really kind of no matter what the situation is. That's my guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
And once again, I thought, from what I saw the second half, Mertz looked good. I think I had some concerns about Mertz coming into the season. Not that I was worried that he wouldn't be productive, but based on how he came in last season, I think we all had really high hopes, and it just felt like it didn't deliver. And it seems like so far this season, he is delivering. If you're making an argument for who has been one of our best, I'll say, attacking players so far in these first 4 games, you can say Dikwa because of the goals, but I'd have to say that Mertz is up there as well. So I don't know. Does anybody disagree with that?
No, I agree. He's taken on some additional responsibilities too. Like he's taking on the corners and some of the other kicks. So I think that, the very obvious statement, having him for preseason and having him learn the team has helped all of this mesh together. I also think that because of the way that he plays with Forbes and just their style of communication, they're very willing to talk to a lot of these players. And, like the Mertz family will have the players over their house. So you build this relationship with him that I think allows us to have a couple of extra leaders on the field. And I think we're seeing that, you talking about how people are falling in better and can substitute for each other, and we don't lose a lot of the consistency of play. I think that's part of it.
I agree. I think Mertz is he's maturing slowly more and more into a leader. I know he takes on the captaincy in moments when, presumably when Forbes isn't on the field. But no, I agree. I think if Mertz came in and just kind of stayed at the level that he was in the last season or 2 seasons, it would have been good, but it would have been okay. He hit his ceiling, and to me at least, he's shown signs of taking on more responsibility this year, and doing a little bit more than what at least I thought he was capable of consistently doing, last season.
I just wish it wasn't at the, detriment of taking Burke off. I like Burke a lot, and I thought, it would be nice to have. He could have stayed on the field longer.
Yeah.
Who do you take off instead if you want to bring Mertz on now?
I don't care. I just want Laser in that game.
Strong tactics there, Josh.
That's what I'm known for, my tactics.
We kind of have to talk about, once again, the ref becomes a big part of the conversation in this game. There was a moment where there was a clear handball. We can talk about whether or not you guys think it was a handball or not. That could have led to a Hounds pen, but even more clear, at least in my interpretation of things, was Dikwa's goal that was disallowed. Essentially, ball was played over the top. Deke was making a run at the ball, basically looking back at the ball full time, gets his head on it, and it goes into the net. At the same time, the keeper makes a run out to try to play the ball, doesn't touch the ball, and crashes into Dikwa. And the ref not only called a foul on Dikwa, but then gave him a yellow afterwards. And it's not clear if the yellow was for dissent or, Dikwa was clearly upset because he headed the ball into the net and had no idea the keeper was there. I don't know.
I'll go a step further. I don't even care if he's looking at the keeper the entire time. He got there before the keeper and puts his head on it. And to me, there's just no foul there. I don't know. My only guess is head injuries are so looked after by refs that maybe he sees the keeper go down and that kind of, I don't know, instinct kicks in to say head injury bad. If there's any possibility of head injury, I stop the game immediately. I blow a whistle. Okay, foul.
All right, but if so, then someone needs to tell her that a keeper uses his hands a lot and probably isn't going after it with his head.
I completely agree, and I'm just trying to figure out. And also, isn't there? I'm the last person who knows details about this stuff, but I remember there was conversation around like ref contractual like agreements with the USL and the league and whatever. I don't know. Or is this a different group of refs than we're getting from?
They made it sound like it was going to be, but so far it's all been pro. Like like the contract with pro was, they made the whole big deal about it being off. Like there's no contract to be exclusive to pro, I guess you would say. But now, like every game I've seen has been pro refs.
Yeah. What I mean, what the conversation has been that they are pro refs, just not potentially reffing under the title of pro. They're just
They're
like
still
freelance.
pro refs, and they're still like I think it's just more like ad hoc, where it's like if they wanted to, they could use other refs, but so far they have not.
They're just using pro.
Yeah, and like it was obviously a goal. I don't like. I was kind of like putting it on my mind when we first started talking about this game, but yeah, it was a goal. Looking at it again, it's definitely a goal, and I don't know how that was called off, but at the same time, it was, and I still thought we looked good afterwards. Like it didn't deflate us. So at least we had that going for us.
I thought it was funny that Dequa was all heated, and it was showing me who came over and tried to calm him down in the same way that a few games ago when showing me missed his sitter, Dequa was there to calm him down. So that's good to see that amongst the team. It did make me think, though, that's a case where if there was something like VAR, you would hope that would get overturned. But we've also seen a lot of cases where VAR has just been ridiculous in the EPL. So my question to you guys is, would you want to see VAR in the USL, knowing all of the pros and the potential cons of it?
I mean, I don't understand. I don't see how it possibly happens given like the financial resources the league has, but I'd take it immediately.
College lacrosse has it. Why can't we?
Do they really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Liz, would you take it?
College sporting budgets can be pretty high.
Yeah. Fair enough.
Have you seen tuition?
We did a whole episode of it on Soccer Better, and my opinion is yes, but you have to do it right. There are plenty of things that I think are done really wrong, especially with the offside rule and how long you take for VAR. I think there should be limits on how long you can look at it before what happened on the field stand, because it's not a clear and obvious error. There need to be a lot of updates. I think we can learn from EPL, but yeah, I would like to see VAR.
With that said, I like one of your original parts of that question was like, do we think that VAR would have called the goal a goal? And I feel like VAR is great at catching things the ref miss, as far as like more harsh or like offside, that kind of stuff. I don't think it's that great at like making a goal when it was called off. Like I feel like when the ref calls a goal off, it's like 90% of the time they're like, okay, yeah, we'll just say it was, that we're going with the ref. We're not going to, counteract what he said. But if it's the other way around, where the ref said it was a goal, they're like, look, like actually that wasn't a goal. Like that happens more often, I feel like, than the other way.
I'll agree with you, but I think that's also in the context of Premier League refs.
Good refs? Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true. Better, sorry.
I was going to say, yeah,
maybe not
good.
Better refs. Yeah. Better refs.
Higher paid, more qualified refs.
Yes.
I don't, I mean, I was searching for anything in my original like perspective of, well, maybe the ref sees it as a head injury. And I take Steve's point in the comments, like, yeah, it was wrong. It was a wrong decision. And barring that, I don't even see how it's close. Like, I don't understand what the call was. I don't understand, like,
even the Homer announcers were like, that was a goal. Like, it was pretty bad when even them, which are obviously like the hometown announcers, and they're going to be on the side, Tulsa, they were like, at least one guy was. He was like, yeah, it's a goal.
Which is kind of ridiculous because, like, I feel like now in the past 2 seasons, we've had like clear and obvious examples where a goal was not given to us when it correctly should have. And now I understand goals change how the flow of the game goes after that. But just purely from like a numbers point of view at the end of the game, like those goals would have given us wins. And so like that could have been a huge moment for us. And I know it's only 4 games in the season and blah, blah, blah. But yeah, it's a bitter thing to swallow right now.
If we're out of the playoffs by 2 points,
yeah,
I'm remembering this.
It's only 1 point right now. 1 was from last year.
No, because we got 1 point instead of 3 points because we drew instead of win.
Never mind, I'm wrong. I don't know what I'm talking about.
Guys, what else? What other takeaways from this game? What other things that you guys want to talk about?
We got to talk about Junior. Don't know if you, Mike. I think that was that the second half that Junior got injured.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. He came down. It looked like they were looking at his arm the whole time. I think he broke something in his arm or something like that. Like it looked pretty bad. We have not heard anything about it officially yet, so I don't know what's going on. But yeah, it looked like a broken arm probably happened.
Well, I mean, I guess depending upon where the break is, he could potentially still play with it. You could cast it
Mike,
up
you
and
know
pad
about
it up.
this, right? With like,
I'm just saying, like, you
broken
can cast
things,
it
and yeah.
There's lots of players that have played with broken arms. If it's, maybe not if it's below the elbow and it's just the forearm, you can cast it and play in that. But I don't know how comfortable he would be doing that.
I don't think it. I don't know. From the bit that I saw, the medical staff was kind of, I don't know. They were like, it looked to me like they were trying to correctly position his entire arm. It wasn't that they were just kind of like treating his, forearm or something.
Do you think
it
it's
looked
like a shoulder injury?
So at first I thought he like dislocated his shoulder.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh, this is worse than that.
Yeah, I thought elbow for some reason, and I don't know why, because there weren't a lot of views on it, but it felt more jointy to me. But
which is, I don't know. I even so we know my bias towards Etu. I think he's great. I think he's amazing. And I put it, I don't know. So and I'm curious. So I have in my notes, like, okay, Etu's so good.
How many times are you going to say you have notes? I feel like when you
it
do
doesn't
it,
happen often,
I
know.
right?
Never stop. I love it.
Let him have this.
That like Etu, this is gonna sound so corny. I even hate saying this, but like Etu was almost playing like too good passes. Like to me, he was directing them the way they should. So like, how sometimes you can lead your teammate to do the thing you want them to do, right? You pass into space in front of them at a certain distance where they can run onto it with speed, and you can kind of keep the play going rather than just passing it right to their feet and then they have to stop and turn. And he was constantly doing that. And like his teammates just like, they weren't reading the flow of the game and reacting to it. And so it ends up being like a turnover when, at least in my view, it was a great pass. And like he had the teammate had enough space to run onto it and continue on possession, and it just didn't work out. And I was like, yeah, Etu is just playing too good of passes here for us. And I thought he was breaking up play. The other thing was he doesn't just break up play. He breaks up play and then quickly transitions us. It's not that he's just winning the ball and then it rolls over into a second ball that we regain possession and cycle it back to the center backs. He's winning the ball, turning up and finding Dikwa within seconds. That could be a really big loss. I don't know what we do in the midfield. I felt like I was happy with the Ibarra, Forbes, Etu, Mertz thing. I don't know if Failing or Laser can or should be more of a central midfielder. It feels like he brings a lot of energy to kind of like the wider areas of the field. So maybe he can fill in there. I don't know. But yeah, Etu, I think it's gonna be a big loss.
Well, I think not even just losing him as a talent. I think that drastically changes how we could approach games, right? I think a lot of us were thinking that Etu and Kenny could sort of play as those double pivots because Etu could sort of cover where Kenny wasn't.
Yeah.
And now I was already worried about the depth at that position as is. Now, if he's gone, you can't have Kenny in there as a single pivot. That exposes the defense. So then now you're playing maybe Ibarra and then who? Like I don't know if Zwelsloot. I can't even say it. If
Zoot, but you're close.
Zoot. Yeah. I don't know if Zoot can play in that spot or not, but it feels like a position that we were light in to begin with. Now we're like super light in, and has the potential to that's I'm going to say it. That's the Danny Griffin role that sort of runs the offense. It goes from defense to offense. And I know Danny's not here. I'm not making a plea for Danny to be here, but that's how I think about it, is that with nobody there, you miss that link. So
it is a shame, because over the 4 games, I personally got enough evidence to prove to me that he was significantly better than Danny. But
Danny Griffin was voted as one of the top midfielders in the Lily era. So
I don't really care, Mike.
Okay.
You guys and your love affairs with these players this year is endlessly entertaining.
I mean, one could say that Junior Etu was playing 2 good passes, or one could say that he wasn't reading his players,
the crappiness of his teammates.
he wasn't realizing the run they were making, and he was deciding that they should be making a different run instead of actually playing with his teammates. One could say.
Sounds like political spin to me, Josh.
That he wasn't playing the side of the field that the rest of the team was on. I think that's another problem, that once you got to the bad side of the field, you're not going to put on that same speed. You can't play in the same way. So I think there may have been where he, broke up play and he did all the secondary things, that pushing players forward was maybe too much for what we were playing on.
Kev, what else is in your notes that we haven't talked about yet?
I mean, like to start general and go to a little more specific. I mean, I thought it was just a good game against 2 really good teams. I mean, I'd like to see this matchup again at the end of the season, after both Tulsa and us had a full season under us.
In the final, that'd be cool.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I mean, it ends 0-0, but I noted chance after chance. I mean, like Ordonez should have scored in the 40th minute. We have another good chance in the 44th minute. Jamali Waite had a really good save, I think, like around stoppage time or the beginning. I have minute 46, so I don't know if that's stoppage time in the first half or the first. Okay. So yeah, I mean, it wasn't like it was a boring 0-0 that was devoid of chances. I think it was an exciting game. We were pressing them. I think the other fascinating thing to me was, it felt like after around 40, 42 minutes, Tulsa kind of started to figure out what we were doing and adapted to it appropriately. I think we were pressing them really well. They didn't really have a solution. And then they altered how they started playing and started to find some joy in it. I think they started hitting more long diagonals, and it was connecting, and they were just kind of bypassing our press, bypassing the midfield. And so when a team can kind of react to that in real time without the need of a halftime talk from your manager, and that's really impressive. And so it was an enjoyable game that I thought it would have been a shame if almost either team would have lost. I was surprised when I look back at the stats. I don't know, these could be unofficial stats. I just Google it. I don't go on USL's site, but
I was saying, while you're looking that up, one thing that I started using, is it FOTMob?
FOTMob, yeah.
I don't know how you pronounce it. Yeah, FOTMob. And I friggin' love it. I've been using Twitter, and I had been using USL stuff to get details on games and things. Dude, FOTMob is amazing in terms of giving you all of the stats and the lineups and the play-by-plays, and much better than anything else out there.
If you have it pulled up, is it telling you what the possession stats were for this game?
Let's find out, Kevin. Yes, Tulsa had almost 70% possession.
Yeah. Okay, so that surprised me. That didn't feel what I saw in the game. I mean, yes, Tulsa had more possession, but 7.
We had 18 total shots to Tulsa's 7. Although we only had 3 on target, and they had 2 on target. So, yeah. I don't know. All of that saying, I think showing me failing and Mertz. I think it did a good job, kind of pressing as a unit. They were willing to work, and they were willing to run, and I think Bob probably loves that, and I'm sure that'll get rewarded as the season goes on. Yeah, I mean, we had some conversations about at the season ticket holder event how Bob sort of related the work ethic and the commitment that this group of players has compared to previous seasons. So it will be interesting to see if that all translates to, goals and wins on the field. So,
speaking of the possession, all that kind of stuff. The hopes and dream chart out for this game, the XG, was actually also more even than I thought it was going to be. Like I was expecting it to look like because I remember so many of our chances like should have been going in, but they weren't. But they actually show that Tulsa had some really good opportunities. I mean, obviously the one that Waite saved, but there's more than that. So I was kind of surprised by seeing the chances there, and then also along the same lines is USL Tactics came out with a chart that he's been tracking the XG over the whole season so far. So that a huge sample size, but right now the Hounds have the best defense out of all the teams in the USL. So that's playing into the narrative of Lily defensively minded team. As far as attacking, we are like middle of the pack, so it wasn't like we were terrible, but it was nice to see that we are seeing our defense, which we thought was good this season. We went into the season thinking it was going to be good. Kind of seen that bear out so far, at least.
Yeah, that's awesome.
That's a good graph. Yeah, I like that. It's cool.
We shared on Twitter and on YouTube Tifo, which puts out all sorts of videos and stuff on YouTube. If you don't follow them, they're a good follow. They put out a whole video this past week just about XG, like explaining it down to a T. And I thought it was really informative. So we shared that out. If you've missed that, just go check out either Twitter or our community page over on YouTube, and you'll see the video. It's worth a watch.
It's a pretty short video. It just says, this is what teddy bears and everything nice is made out of. It's the hopes and dreams of our team. So
exactly. Yeah, for sure.
A quick point on that too. I don't think it's, I don't know, and push back on me if you disagree with this, but I don't think sometimes, good and solid defensively can the immediate expectation of that is boring and just like putting a bunch of players behind the ball and just like sitting there. Yeah, that was not how we defended against Tulsa. So it was an exciting. It's a weird phrase, but it was an exciting way of defending. And
I would say that's one big difference about the term Lily ball was a huge thing with Lily, defensive minded, and people did say like there was a lot of vocal people on Twitter being like Lily ball's boring to watch. Rochester's boring to watch, but they kind of eke out those wins. It's a very Rounders type of approach to soccer, just little by little getting those little advantages and just barely winning. The Lily special we would call it here, but that's not this season. Like this season, it's been fun to watch. It feels like we're getting these good defensive ratings because the ball isn't in our half as much, and it isn't so much that we're constantly bunkering down. It's just that they're not getting very many chances to score on us.
Yeah. I said sort of early on that I don't care about results. What I care about is sort of what I'm seeing on the field and what we're doing. And I think the two big encouraging things from this game were, once again, like we said, the defensive prowess, Jamali Waite. We looked solid at the back. We should have had probably 2 goals in this game. Like eventually those will swing back in our direction and we'll get some goals where, we otherwise thought maybe we shouldn't have. So I think that'll all even out, but the eye test for now is pretty good. I mean, we don't know how good Tulsa is going to be come the end of the season, but you can only play the team that you're up against this week. So I can't really complain.
I don't want to leave the discussion around Tulsa with a negative, but I do think I don't know.
But I'm gonna.
Yeah. My worry is I don't know. I think the Etu loss is going to have a big impact on our season, but we'll see.
I think that Lily expects the players to be able to fill in a lot of places and be adaptable, and we're going to see that come into play here. And I think the way in which the team is obviously communicating each other and the way that the locker room is building up around it is going to be to reinforce that in a positive way. It is a loss for sure, if it is a loss. But I think that if we have to rebound, it'll take, 1, maybe 2 games at most to rebound from that and figure out another formation, another person to put, another body to put there and change.
It does seem like the locker room has more leaders in it. like than in years gone by. And it's not, and it's weird because it's like the same players. Like, for example, I'm kind of getting a vibe that Dikwa is kind of feeling more comfortable in his own skin, feeling more comfortable in his role about how long he's been here. And it seems like he is taking more of a leadership role on the field. I think Mertz is slowly continuing to develop that and establish that more. So yeah, that's a good point.
It's a new nickname. Yeah, Chico. It's given a lot of, energy for him. So
I don't know what that, like, where did that come from?
there were some players last season that would call him Chico. I was not told who the players were, but a couple players were just calling him Chico. And he loved it and decided that's my nickname. And well, because it was like everyone was calling him that because of those players calling him Chico all the time. So he was like, sweet, that's what I want to be called now. And so he didn't give it to himself, like some reports out there were saying. It was given to him.
Some podcasts are reporting, not us. Yeah.
Not us. But yes.
Wow, guys.
Yeah.
We love you, Hamzy.
Never change.
That's right.
What position did Joe Farrell come in when we were at home? He came in as an attacker. What position did he come in?
It was basically like center forward.
I was just wondering if, could we see Joe Farrell coming in for Junior? Like, is
Maybe.
he, just as good as Junior, right? Like that's.
I think what will be interesting and very telling is, we're going to talk about it here in a second, but the Hounds are going to head to play Colorado Springs Switchbacks this Saturday. And whether or not we see a similar formation as we saw in this one, and there's just a like-for-like replacement, or if we see Lily go with a whole different formation that minimizes the potential loss of somebody like Etu.
I'll say this. I mean, I can't think of a single player that Lily would completely change a system in the absence of that one player. I think his, like, a core ethos of his is like system over individual player. And, see Dane Kelly from last year, see what,
but like, so here we roll out like a 4-2-3-1. You could realistically go to like a 3-4, 3 or 3-4-2-1.
There's that math.
I'm just saying, like, you could do like a 3-4-3, and then what you basically have is you have more bodies in the middle of the field to try to cover the loss of somebody like him, and you have your wingers just going up and down the field. So
I don't know. My hunch is Lily will potentially incorrectly just back another player and say, yeah, you can do this job, and just kind of throw them
I think we'll see a different formation, but I think it's because Lily practices different formations because he wants to, even if he's like, oh, you know what, this isn't working after 20 minutes, I'm changing my formation. He does that. He does that with some frequency. And so I think we'll see a change in formation. I do think he has options, but he's not a like for like coach. It's not who he brings in. He's like, oh, well, if this person goes down, I know who I'm replacing them with. It's like, if this person goes down, who are we playing? And then what can I change on the field? And so I don't feel like that's how he built his team.
I think it's the who are we playing thing. I think he really leans on that.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, in the past, yes, but I feel like this season we've seen the same 4-4-2 setup and the same players starting every game. The only reason we didn't see that for this game is because this was a midweek game. Like, this is the outlier game, not the norm. So, like, I feel like we pretty much go back to the lineup we had minus Etu. Like, we'll see what's going on with him. But that we've had, the previous 3 games before this.
Do we think that maybe we played the same players in the same formation because it's early in the season and we don't know what those teams are like necessarily? We don't have a lot of tape on them. And so this is working for us. And now he's like, well, I have to adapt a little bit.
I mean, it's possible, but we've never seen him use the same 3 games in a row lineup. I think this season's the first time we've said the same lineup all 3 games, even the first games of the season. So it was just interesting to see that and kind of like start to think maybe 4-4-2 is our formation now. Like, maybe this is us.
Is that the influence of a keeper coach, of like another full-time? No, seriously, like another full-time person saying, with a, not that like, the assistant coach doesn't have a voice, but someone he hired as a straight authority that he has to listen to some extent.
I mean, I don't know if the keeper coach is just dictating formation though. Maybe Visser's just is stepping up more.
Yeah, That could be it too.
Hear me out.
No.
Joe...
Sorry.
No, it's great. I love it. Joe Farrell has now played forward and defense. Why not midfield? I mean,
That's what I said.
That's what Josh said.
No, wait. Oh, I thought
Thank you
said...
for not listening to other podcasts and our own, Kev.
I thought you said laser. I thought you said failing.
No. I
not
Farrell.
Farrell. I thought you said failing. Not
it's all good.
Okay.
It's all good. Yeah. I couldn't remember what position he played when he came in as a forward. I was thinking it was a forward or midfielder. I couldn't remember.
See, I immediately I was like, oh, your Etu is failing.
I mean,
so you're just gonna say failing, and so
the other option, and we should move on from this game because we spent 45 minutes talking about a 0-0 draw. But
it was a good 0-0.
I know, you've made that point,
Mike. It was fun.
The other option is that you drop Robbie Mertz back and you put Laser up higher up the field where Mertz was. But I think that you lose something by having Mertz not up in that attacking role the way that he's been playing.
Yeah,
I
think you're like, yeah, I think you're like Alex Dixon the Mertz role.
Yes. But if you're looking for who can do it, he can do it. You're just going to lose that ability elsewhere on the field.
It's Nate's chance. Dos Santos, he's going to come in.
That's what I'm thinking.
He's going to take the Etu role. I hope not, because he is not doing good this season. Maybe this is what he needs. I don't know.
But that's my point. Like,
I don't think he's doing terrible, though.
Agree to disagree.
Okay.
I mean, I don't think he's doing terrible, but I wouldn't say he's far off from that.
Like, you guys are way more negative. I see a lot of potential there. I like the energy that he has. I like the way in which he
passes just as good as Etu does. Which is
get out of here.
Shots fired.
Guys, anything else you want to talk about as it relates to this game?
Maybe we should move on.
All right. Liz said we're moving on, so we're moving on. Just a quick glance around the league. This has just been something that the first few weeks after we sort of did the whole, fan voting for the top 11 in the Lily era, we're seeing more and more of these players' names just like popping up. And this is not me like salt on the wound kind of thing, but I feel like we should acknowledge when there's players that we know intimately are like doing a good job. So the first few weeks we were talking about Alex Dixon. This past week, Russell Cicerone got 2 goals and Vidiello got a shutout as Sacramento beat Louisville 5-0, which was probably the shock result of the weekend. So Cicerone with 2, Vidiello with the shutout. Then Nico Brett got 2 goals as Birmingham beat Tampa 2-0. And, Tampa are one of those teams that we always consider to be top of the East. They are struggling early on with no wins, 2 draws, and 2 losses. So we also talked a little bit about Birmingham. Kev, you mentioned like it was probably good that we played them early because between Brett and Pasher Drink, they're getting hot. So thanks, Liz, for supporting that.
I feel like at some point you got to unfriend your exes and don't look at their Facebook pages anymore. And this is that point. Like I'm sad. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to see it.
You're like, oh my God, they got a promotion. They have a great house. Like,
I'm so happy for you. This is great. You deserve it.
Look, so when I saw the final score of the Sacramento game, I just basically retweeted and I said, there's too many thoughts. And there were multiple Cicerones that liked the tweet. So like they still follow us. Should that count for anything?
That's the one X I haven't gotten over yet.
Yeah. Cicerone's hard, but I mean, so is.
I think there was a lot of stuff that went into the decision for that, and just because his family attended tailgate, you know what I mean? It was the same thing when Mertz left. It was hard on any number of levels, and for different reasons. It's nice to see him get back in the groove though and succeed. I don't know, we want this to be a competitive, league, and whatever the USL is doing with MLS and the fight that they're having, if we're not competitive, if we're not playing interesting games, that's going to fall apart, and I don't want that. So it hurts, but also kind of cool.
I'm gonna let Liz be the final vote on this. Should I bring up former Hounds and how they're doing moving forward, or are we done?
You get 1 season. If they were here last season, you can bring them up, but other than that, you're cut off.
Okay, so Nico Brett and Danny Vidiello are out.
Yeah.
But Cicerone and Dixon are still in.
I feel like it's a very, very old Hound. It's also kind of fun because then it's there's no emotion there. It's like, hey, what's Cheetah doing? Not much. That's fine. But I mean,
Roberts got Player of the Week. Call that out. And okay, all right, got it.
It's like
Okay.
therapy. At some point, you got to move on.
Yeah.
We'll
I'm
make
giving
it work.
I'm giving you one season.
That's fair. Guys, the results of this game, I know there were a number of people that were up in arms because they were like, technically Deke was scored, so it should count as a win as it relates to Pick'em, but unfortunately that is not how it works. So our rankings actually end up staying pretty much as they were because a number of people picked draws. So looking at our leaderboard for Pick'em so far this year, after 4 games, Dan Yost and Keaton Liebengood, or Liebengood, apologies if I'm butchering that, both on 4 points. Kev, you and Laura Ellen also have 4 points. We need to knock Kev out of the top spot to
where you
force
guys
him.
at? I don't see you on
I have a
the
point.
graphic.
Thank you very much. I just got one this game.
Yeah.
I forget to.
We're just off this list. Don't worry. Mongols, we need to like combine and take down Kev so that he has to come up for a game next year. And then right behind them, you have JF and Justin on 3 points each. It is still not too late. You come in and pick the correct score and you're already on 3 points. So encourage everybody. If you're interested, we are giving away 2 free season tickets to the Hounds in 2024 to whoever gets the highest score. All you got to do is predict the score. You get 3 points if you get the score prediction dead on. You get 1 point if you correctly pick a win, a draw, or a loss. That's pretty much it. You have to be a supporter of the show, which is $10 a year. There's a link over on YouTube or on Twitter. If you're interested and you can't find it, just DM us on either service and we will send you the link. But you're welcome to play without being a supporter. So it's just fun and sort of see how it goes. We're really bad at picking these, apparently. Like that was part of my thing of doing this was like we pick these games every week and there's 0 repercussions. But even just picking the right result is really difficult in the USL. So yeah, so that's that. Guys, next game for the Hounds, I already mentioned we play the Switchbacks on Saturday at 8 p.m. So we will be out in Colorado Springs. The Switchbacks are currently 2-1-1. They most recently beat Loudon 1-0 after Romario Williams scored in the 5th minute of their game. We know Loudon has been putting on some highlight reels as well, so that's quite an accomplishment for them. All of their goals have come from inside the box and on the ground. So not a ton of crosses, not a ton of headers, just something to keep an eye on there. Apparently they are dealing with some injury issues, just as we are. So we'll see if that has some advantage for us. And I know we're not looking at overall rankings, but the USL put out their power rankings this past week, just trying to get some information on the Switchbacks. The Switchbacks are currently ranked 7th in the USL's power rankings, and we are ranked 8th. So like side by side, pretty even teams doing similar things. They have 1 more win than we do, but they also have a loss. So we still have not had our first loss of the season. I don't think it's going to come here either, but this is the point where we sort of do our predictions. So, Liz, with a cat over your shoulder, would you like to lead us off as the guest in terms of how you think this game will end up?
What kind of field do they play on?
Oh, geez. That's a good question. I don't know if they play on a baseball field or not. Let me see. Let me pull out FOTMob and see if FOTMob will tell me.
Field.
Yeah, it's Widener Field. I don't know anything about Widener Field.
I clicked on it on FOTMob and it came up in Google Maps. Ooh, wait. Hold on. I'm going to go to satellite view.
It doesn't look bad.
I think it's a soccer field.
It is not a baseball field. It is a soccer-specific field.
Okay. I think it's going to be a 1-1 draw.
Ooh, okay.
Looks like it's turf too.
Yeah, it is turf.
Yeah.
All right.
So,
but it's definitely bigger than our field because we have the smallest possible field. So
yeah,
true.
So Liz says 1-1. Josh, what do you think?
I said 1-1 last. No, I said 0. No, I said 1-1 last time. I think, and it was 0-0. I'm gonna say we win 1-0.
Oh man, Josh going with the W. Ev, what do you got?
2-0 Switchbacks.
Ooh.
Fired. Taking over your spot.
I'm curious why you feel that way, Kev.
Honestly, it's just a feeling. I think
it's all vibes. No thoughts. All vibes, no thoughts.
That's the way you got to go with these things. No, I don't know. I think I don't know. I think we played really well against Tulsa, and I don't think.
And we can't do that again.
Well, I'm just gonna say, like, I don't think that's our level for like every away game we play at. I was really impressed, and I think on some level we overperformed in Tulsa,
I was
and
way so happy.
I was gonna. It's because Etu's out. I mean, he thinks
Yeah,
Etu's out. So no one
honestly,
thinks
I
we're
think that's a
doing
bit of
crap.
it as well. I mean, I
feel
think
like that's
Oh,
his real reason.
that's gonna have a knock on, blah blah blah. But yeah, and also like the second away game in a row. I don't know.
I mean, get used to the away games because, after this week, the Hounds will be home, but then we're away for 3 more games. That's just sort of the way the early
June,
season is
July.
constructed.
And
Yeah,
then
June,
it's
July,
all
yeah.
Hounds.
Yeah.
Hounds
Also,
all the time.
I guess putting it this way, at the beginning of the season, if you would have said, "Do you think we're going to go unbeaten in the first 5?" I would have said no. And so,
Yeah, but now you've seen how we're playing. You can change your mind.
yeah, I just,
Evidence-based answers.
broad-based statistics. That's what I'm going
Ugh.
for right now.
All vibes.
I am going to say, oh man, I really want to say a 2-0 win. Coming into this, I was saying it's going to be a draw. I'm like, it's at least going to be, I don't see us dropping points, but seeing what sort of happened in Tulsa, knowing that the Switchbacks had to sort of grind out this win against Loudon, knowing how well our defense is, getting the sense that Jamali Waite might be the guy, and we're not dealing with rotation there so much. I'll say 1-1. I'll say 1-0 Hounds.
That's what I said.
Yeah, I know. I'm going to take Josh's pick too.
If I
Now
get
you
3
know you're
points, and you also get 3 points.
Well, but I was going to say, here's the other thing, Josh. You and I seem to like be stuck with 1 point apiece, and so the fact that we're picking the same things is probably not.
That's not a good sign.
That's not a good sign. No.
Should I price this right this, and for the rest of the season just pick whatever you guys pick, so you can never get above me? Is that...
No, because Laura, Ellen, and Liz, and Justin, and Steve can also overtake you.
That's true, but I don't talk to them week on week. I talk to you guys.
You act like Mike just is not just going to make you go first every time.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm coming back next week.
You forget that we had a brother that used to play that game. Anytime we would go out to eat, he never wanted to order the same thing as anyone else. So he always wanted to go last, and we would try to guess what he wanted and ordered it instead, and then he'd have to change his order. So yeah, Kevin's very familiar with this.
That's some brother shenanigans. That's some very much like, oh, you want to be different? No.
He's the typical middle child. It was very much like, we're going to be different just to be different kind of thing.
Also, to be clear, what matters here is what we put on the YouTube community post. It's not.
I hope not, because I've never done
it. Listen, what is official is on the YouTube community post, but for those who are on the show that don't do it, I fill you in on the spreadsheet where I'm actually.
Oh, that's good to know. So, okay. I'll stop putting.
No, Kev. You keep doing it. The preference is you do it on the YouTube community post.
Oh, now you're calling me out. Oh man.
Because like even right now, Steve is putting his picks in the chat while we're live, and I'm not going back and looking at this chat once we're done. So like, do it on a YouTube community post. So as Kevin brings up a good point, if you're playing on Friday morning, I think I have it set up already. Over on YouTube on our community page, there will be a post. You just add a comment to that post with your score prediction. We will also have the link from Twitter, although now apparently Twitter is Doge, not Twitter. There's all sorts of like nonsense going on over there. So we keep saying that, we're using YouTube in case something crazy happens with Twitter, and crazy things keep happening with Twitter. So just hang on. But get comfortable with YouTube is what we're saying. That's what we think. Obviously, let us know what you guys think. I still have to send Polanski his prize. I told him I was going to do it last week, and then things spiraled out of control with the dogs and the foot and the whole thing. So Matt, it's on the way. I promise. I've not forgotten about you. Anything else that you guys want to talk about in this one?
Watch party for the game at Mike's. We're going to have a joint watch party with the Hounds for this game. This isn't going to be like we're not doing Bulldogs anymore. It's just for this game. We're going to have the watch party at Mike's with the Hounds. So,
and it's firework night for the Pirates, so you could catch some fireworks.
Nice.
Feels like there's a story there.
No. It's just like there could be a parking situation at Mike's because of the fact that there is a game.
Mm-hmm.
So I think the Hounds are working on a solution there. There's nothing official yet, but the rumor on the street is they might have a bus or something like that from Highmark to Mike's, dropping people off and back. A shuttle, if you will.
Interesting.
I was like, what are they going to do? Like, put up
Keep
like
an
a
eye on
toll
the
bridge and be like, prove that you like the Riverhounds and you get these parking spaces.
You don't have merch on, you don't get in.
Well, I'm assuming that like they're still gonna charge you to park at Highmark Stadium. So like
It's about what they would charge though. It's probably less than what they charge during a baseball game around the stadium though. So it's probably going to be better prices.
maybe.
It'd be
I mean,
easier
it's
to leave,
a
too.
smart way to make some money on a Hounds away game. So
And the games aren't at the same time. Like there's a lot of like factors there. So it's actually going to work out because like Mike's isn't busy during the game, and we'll be playing during the game, so it's not going to be that bad.
Mike, I think you should just like commit to it, and for the rest of the season, in every way possible, be as negative as possible. I think that's what you should do, and just see if you could do it. Like, because I think that'd be kind of interesting to a dynamic to this show.
wait, just like in general, just like be negative about the team and my score prediction and just everything.
Yeah.
So you don't like the fact that I've come around and I'm trying to be not even optimistic.
I enjoyed the.
He doesn't want to
You
be.
miss the negative, Mike, is what you're
Is this
saying?
more brother shenanigans?
Screw you, Kev. Okay, how about that?
Kevin doesn't want to be the stick in the mud.
Does that
anymore.
work for you?
He wants to be the one
Do
that's
you
a
like
little more
that?
optimistic. He said for the
did you guys
team, not
see-
for him.
Did you guys see
Getting
SNL
weird.
this
Can
week?
I end this? Where's the off button?
There was an amazing sketch about two cars in traffic on SNL this week.
Yeah, that was funny.
And they eat my butt, which I laughed out loud multiple times in that. So yeah, go check that out, Kev. You can eat my butt. Okay.
I saw it. It was funny.
Good. Yeah. Why are you using two hands? All right, we're gonna get out of here. If you have no idea what we're talking about, go to YouTube, look up SNL traffic, and it'll come up.
Or don't. I'm not gonna. It's fine.
Your funeral, Liz.
That's aggressive.
It's been. Did I say it's been a week? I'm going negative real fast. I need to end
Look
this.
what you've done, Kevin.
Yeah, Kevin. Yeah, way to go. Yeah, exactly. Thanks, everybody. We'll talk to you very, very soon.
Cheers.